And here's the video look for Dark of the Moon Deluxe Bumblebee, the first version, at least the non-nitro version. I do have the nitro version on the way, so I'll review him as soon as he gets here. And first, I'll let me apologize for my voice. I've been sick all weekend. I feel a lot better. I'm not feeling under the weather anymore, but my voice is still a little hoarse and I'm still a little stuffed up. So I apologize for that. But rest assured, I am feeling much better, so that's good. In vehicle mode, as you saw in the pictures at the beginning, he's a little smaller than the Battle Blades Bumblebee. He shares a lot of similarities, but he's definitely almost an entirely new mold, if not a completely new mold. He's not just a slightly retooled version. There are a lot of differences between the two figures. One, he is slightly smaller. The spoiler piece back here, different sculpt up here on the front, and the stripes that go all the way back, and then the windows and everything else. There's a lot of differences between these two. He does have the Mechtech gun, which he does have the fill-in hole there on the top that allows you to plug the Mechtech weapon in, and then when you pull it out, the hole fills itself in. But the Mechtech weapon does plug in right there on top in vehicle mode, and then pushing on this button causes the scope to lift up, and the front barrel to flip forward into a larger cannon barrel. And there is some neat detailing there on the inside of the cannon barrel as well. One of the neater Mechtech weapons, at least more cohesive Mechtech weapons. I like it. I'm going to transform him. You just want to start lifting this up. I just lift the whole, basically roof up off the car. And you see the mesh is attached to the back of the hood here. They're just solid pieces. They're solid yellow plastic, you can see, just painted black on the outside. And flip that up, and there's nothing a whole lot different at this point. Nothing super spectacular there. But you will notice it lifts up the whole roof of the car here. And you open up the doors, and the doors do have, despite there's the mesh on these windows here, this little NASCAR type mesh, but there are actual glass windows, plastic, but actual windows inside here that are meant to be flipped up for robot mode. They don't fit. I tried, but they don't quite fit underneath. I thought you could fit them underneath the NASCAR mesh, but you can't. There's little things here that keep that from happening. So they are intended to be flipped up for robot mode. Whether you want them up or down, you do have a choice. You don't have to leave them up for robot mode if you choose not to. But yeah, there's that. And up here, you go ahead and the wheels do the same thing as most Deluxes. The wheels flip out to the side, and that allows the shoulders to come out here. Rotate around. The hands, again, very similar to the... and they may be the same thing, just downsized a little bit, but very similar to the hands on the Battle Blades, aside from the fact that the arm shields don't turn into guns this time. They're just the arm shields, which I kind of like. I like the transforming guns, but I like that he's got two normal arms this time. We've had enough of the guns. I'm nice to see the two normal things. Now the front pieces come up and forward and up, just like they do on the Battle Blades. You just kind of lift them up there like that. But right here, instead of these two pieces kind of folding up to form the lower abdomen, this whole piece flips forward, and that gives him his new updated abdomen, like we saw in the leader. That extra piece that forms his new lower torso. And there's a little tab on the back of it here. I don't know if you can see it. There it is, right there. That's going to plug into this piece right here. You just got to push it all the way down until it snaps, and it will snap into place. And then it holds the chest up together like that. And lift this up against his back here. And then the legs, again, you'll notice they transform. You pull this down very similarly to how Battle Blades works, except you notice the feet are all one piece. There's no separate heel piece to fold in here. And this piece, before, on the previous one, this kind of just was sitting straight back on the leg and would just kind of fold forward. And now it's kind of on a angled hinge, so instead of coming forward this way, it kind of angles up and down and around, and it does allow that piece to sit more at the proper angle on his leg, which is kind of nice. And just a neat little bonus that they didn't have to do, but they kind of improved on that little bit from the Battle Blades. He does not have the flip down mask. It's just a solid head this time around. Just to point that out. And there he is in robot mode. There you go. And he's pretty cool. And like I said, if you want to, you can flip those windows down. And it's up to you whether you want to leave them down or up. Since they're intended to be flipped up, I'm going to go ahead and leave them up for the rest of the video. He does have on each arm, he's got a clip-on point on each forearm. This hole is not the Mechtech hole. There's a hole there. This hole up here in the front is the Mechtech port, and you can attach his gun to either arm right up there, or any other Mechtech gun. And that's about as far as it goes on him for Mechtech ports. I haven't found any other ones aside from the ones right there on his forearm. And that's really all there is to Bumblebee. We'll do some size comparisons here in just a minute. But he's got nice ball jointed shoulders, hinged elbows, solid hands, but the thumb is independent, and they're hinged there at the wrist. He's definitely lacking in paint apps compared to some earlier figures. You'll see that the head is very plain and yellow. It does have a couple silver dots up here and the silver face, but other than that, it's a nice sculpt. That you don't really notice it because it's a very plainly painted head. So yeah, and like you'll notice here when we get to the size comparisons, he's a little smaller than previous Bumblebee figures, which is a little bit of a drawback for me. Overall, I really like what they've improved. They've done a lot of neat stuff here. I'm a little disappointed by the fact that they shrunk him down a little bit, but it does kind of help. Like I said, we'll get to that in a minute. And here's a quick size comparison of him with Battleblade's Bumblebee. And you can see, and this is the Deluxe. This is not the Human Alliance or anything. You can see he is a little shorter, and that's not because of a lack of extending the legs or anything. That's just he's just shorter. He's just a little smaller overall than the previous Deluxes. So that like I said, that's a little bit of a negative for me. Overall, I think the figure is great. It's a lot of fun to play with. I would like to see maybe a little bit more paint detail and maybe a little bit more height, but. I know some people we'll put him off to the side for just a second, because I know some people have been wanting to see Ratchet and Ironhide together. So there you go. There's the Dark of the Moon Voyager Ratchet, and Dark of the Moon Deluxe, or Dark of the Moon Voyager Ironhide and Deluxe Ratchet. Here they are with the Revenge of the Fallen, or Hunt for the Decepticons, or whatever you want to call it, Voyager Prime. You can see Prime's a little taller than Ironhide, Ironhide's a little taller than Ratchet, and here they are with Bumblebee. And Bumblebee's even just a bit shorter than Ratchet, and it's even more obvious if you put the windows down. You can see that the two of them together, Ratchet's a little bit taller. Not a lot taller, but so they're not in perfect scale with each other, but you might have a pretty decent group of Autobots here together. And I think it kind of works. Let me back this up so you can see all their feet. So yeah, I think he looks good with the other Dark of the Moon figures, and then that Revenge of the Fallen, or Hunt for the Decepticons Optimus. Now there's the two of them together. Ah! Of course, because I'd done so well up until this point. Anyway, so yeah, there's some drawbacks. He's smaller. He's not as heavily painted. I mean, he does have the more black stripes on him, but he's not as detailed when it comes to the paint job. But I like him. He's fun. He's got a lot of neat little perks. He's definitely got a lot of posability in him. You can get a lot of neat poses. I haven't been able to pop this head off yet. I could certainly unscrew it and take it off. I haven't done that yet. But if you pop off Battleblade's Bumblebee's head, you'll see it is a little bit too big for the body. But if you wanted to, and I don't, like I said, I don't know if since I haven't been able to get this off, I can't tell if it's the same size ball joint either. But you might be happy with. If you're really disappointed in the face, you might be happy popping off that head and putting this one on, just to have the battle mask feature, if that's a real loss. But other than that, I think he's a decent figure. I definitely recommend. If you're not burnt out on Bumblebees, he looks like one to pick up. So there you have it, Dark of the Moon Deluxe Mechtech Bumblebee.